morning, everybody. My name is Lisa Song Sutton. As Ash mentioned, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm based out of Las Vegas. And aside from my entrepreneurial and business pursuits, I'm also a former Miss Las Vegas and Miss Nevada 2014. So that's a lot of what I want to talk to you about today. This track is about impact and what that means as a business person and how that can affect your business community. So during my time as Miss Las Vegas and Miss Nevada, I conducted over 500 over 500 appearances all throughout the state across 18 months. So if you do the math, that's like 2 days for a long time. And I was everywhere. I was reading in schools, I was volunteering in hospitals, I was walking red carpets, I was the guest speaker at the Fernley Rotary Club. Fernley is a town in northern Nevada of like 20,000. I was their first Asian. And it was awesome. It was a really, really special time for me to get involved, and I took on the endeavor kind of without really pre-planning a lot. My mom is a former Miss Korea, and so she called me in the fall of 2013, and she was like, "Are you competing for Miss Las Vegas?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'm kind of busy. I just started Sin City Cupcakes last year. We just got a real estate brokerage off the ground." I rattled off all these things I was doing. And she was like, "Well, this is your last year because you're getting ready to age out." And I was like, right? Like, how do you wake up one day and you're aging out of modeling and pageantry? So I had to buckle down. I got a pageant coach. I took it very seriously. And I was not only the shortest contestant, but also the oldest contestant in the Miss Division that year. And I was one of the handful of girls that wasn't actually born and raised in Nevada. And I was able to win. So Cam, so many of our past speakers talked about believing in yourself and believing in your abilities. And that's so important because you need that as the base in order to grow on top of it, right? You've got to go into any position prepared, any opportunity prepared. So like I said, I buckled down, I got a coach, and instead of being so concerned about, you think pageant and you're like, I've got to go hit the gym, I've got to get my spray tan on, and yes, you do have to do all of that. But I worked with an interview coach. So in the Miss United States organization, interview, swimsuit, evening gown, and onstage question are the 4 areas of competition. They're all weighted evenly. So if you actually look at the areas of competition, interview and onstage question, 50% of your score is talking. You don't think about it and you don't realize it when you're preparing for it, but then when you break it down, you're like, oh my God. So I got an interview coach, and the skills that he taught me in the sessions that we did obviously have translated into the career that I have now and my ability to help others. So throughout all that impact and all these different people that I met throughout the community, throughout the state, throughout the different cities in Nevada, amazingly, all of my companies saw an increase in the bottom line. And even though I was physically away from my businesses, right, I have really amazing operational partners and great teams, ops teams in place for everything. And I had a frank conversation with them before I took on the pageant role and the career. And I was like, if I'm going to do this and I win, this is the type of year I want to have, this type of impact I want to have. You guys have to support me in this, otherwise I can't do it, right? Because it's falling on your shoulders to have to do this. And they all wholeheartedly agreed. They were all drunk in the audience when I won. And so they did. The real work started for all of us as soon as I was crowned. So like I said, all of my companies saw an increase in the bottom line, even though I was traveling all over the state doing these over 500 appearances. And it was because I was out meeting other people in the community, right? I was talking to people, shaking hands, conversing with people, meeting people I would have otherwise never met, and it always inevitably came up. They would ask, so what else do you do besides the whole Miss Nevada thing? And then that was my opportunity to tell them about alcohol cupcakes or real estate or swimwear or whatever was appropriate for the conversation. So what I want to leave you guys with as a takeaway is think about how you can cross-promote and collaborate when you're out doing community work. So we're all so busy, right? Everyone's busy. We all have busy schedules. We can't even get a workout in, right? Much less think about volunteering. Try to integrate it into what you do already and what your personal interests are. So I know there's you can work with women's causes or domestic violence shelters or children's hospitals, and all that stuff is really impactful, but it's also emotionally draining, at least for me. I loved meeting, a lot of the women that would be in these types of shelters, and it was really inspirational, motivational, but at the same time, very emotionally draining for me. So one of my favorite volunteer activities, I'm a huge dog person. I stalk corgis on Instagram, and I volunteer with the Nevada SPCA, which is our state's largest no-kill shelter. And what I can do is for 1 hour, whenever I have time in my schedule, if I'm in town and I have time, I can run over to the shelter and I can go walk some of their dogs, just an hour. And so it gets my dog fix in, so I get to hang out with the dogs and play and stuff. But it's only an hour of my time, and it's so easy to integrate that into my schedule because guess what? I'm making time for something I really want to go do. And again, you overlay that with the people that you meet. So one of the biggest deals I was able to make during my business career so far is I struck a collaboration marketing agreement with Lamborghini for my real estate company. And the way I did that was through a connection that I made while I was out volunteering. I ended up meeting the GM, the general manager of Jaguar Land Rover Reno. His name's Mark. We met, and then, fast forward 2 years later, our company was selling, at the time, the largest and most expensive penthouse listing in the city at $38 million. And so my real estate partner and I looked at each other and we were like, okay, we have to make this like ridiculous. Like, how are we going to just kind of blow it out of the water with the marketing collab? We're going to do something really, really dope. And we were like, let's give away a car. But like not just any car. Like at that time, the Huracan was the brand new car that was hitting the Lamborghini line. It was replacing the Gallardo. Everyone was talking about it. And we were like, we need to get our hands on a Huracan, like now, today. So I'm like, who do I know in high end? So I call Mark and I was like, I'm telling him about the idea. And I was like, is this something that could even be possible? And he was like, I don't know. Why don't you call up Lamborghini Las Vegas and ask him? He's like, his name's Tom, the GM. And I was like, Tom? I was like, okay, first name basis, I'll give him a call. So I call him. And, I felt confident. I had this, like, warm intro, right? Like, I was able to name drop a couple people who I knew, and I'm getting his number. So I call him, and he was very polite, and he was like, he listened to the whole thing, like, this idea, all these ideas I had and how we could promote them, and this is what would work. And he was like, okay, he's like, that sounds amazing, and good luck to you guys, but we'll have to decline, we'll have to pass on this opportunity. And I was like, why? I was like, I just laid out like all these reasons why you should do it. And he was like, in short, we're a Lamborghini. We spend $0 on marketing every year, and that's because we don't have to. We're a Lamborghini. People come to us, and in fact, we're sold out of cars for the next year. Huracan's on pre-order, honey. I can't get them for another 2 years. And I was like, oh. Like, it didn't even cross my mind that one, he would say no, and then two, that he would just be like, this is not something that works for us because we don't need this. We don't pay any money in marketing advertising, and we don't put any effort into marketing advertising because they come to us. People come to us. We're sold out. And I was like, okay. I was like, can I come see you for like 10 minutes? We're on the phone. And he was like, and I was like, are you familiar with Sin City Cupcakes? One of my companies. And he's like, the alcohol cupcakes? I was like, yes. I was like, I am bringing some over right now. I was like, are you at your office? Don't leave. Like, I literally, stopped. I left my house, stopped at the bakery, and then drove all the way out to Henderson, which is where Lamborghini Las Vegas is located. And I brought them cupcakes, and I was, like, chatting them up, and I stayed for 2 hours. I took up 2 hours of Tom's time, and I walked out with a collaboration agreement. And the key was it. Thank you. My partner was really happy about it. I called him. I was like, Devin, get your butt down here right now. I was like, it's happening. He's saying yes. Like, get down here. We got to ink it. But the way that happened was because I tried to figure out how we could bring value, right? I had all these great ideas about what Lamborghini could do for us. And once we started talking about what can we do for Lamborghini, how can we bring value to their customers in a long-term partnership kind of way, not just the one-off, like once we sell a penthouse, you throw a Lamborghini in and everyone like shakes hands and goes their ways. We still have a long-term partnership agreement with them in place. And there are people that we talk to every few weeks in discussing different types of collaborations, different stuff that's coming into the city now, obviously with our hockey team and with the Raiders coming. So that's something that's really, really important. You have to think about that. Like when you're out in the community, volunteering, making an impact, the people that you're meeting are people you're going to end up doing business with 100%. If it's not today, it might be next month, it might be next year, it might be 5 years from now. But it's people that you're going to end up doing business with and figure out how you can bring value to what it is that they're doing, because then in turn, it's going to create value for you. So I will be around all day. As Ash mentioned, I'm one of the investors and on the advisory board for Youngry. I just love what the company's doing, and I think everyone involved is just really fantastic. So please feel free to reach out. You can find me on social at Lisa Song Sutton, LisaSongSutton. And I'll be around. So please feel free to get in touch. I'd love to meet all of you. Thank you.